This man steals. He takes things from people's pockets, from their bags, and from their jackets without them knowing. Wallets, phones, money, and watches. He steals them all. Luckily, he gives back all he takes. Now, you're about to learn this unique form of entertainment with a comprehensive guide that will show you how to steal from every pocket you may come across. How to steal ties, braces, and even glasses. Plus, how to remove every type of wristwatch. Welcome to Stealing the Show, the ultimate pickpocket guide. So, let's go now to the world-famous Magic Circle to see all of this in action. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Man of Steel, Mr. James Freedman.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. It's so nice to be here. And as you heard from John, I am a pickpocket. But don't panic, I'm one of the good guys. I may steal a few things, but I give it all back. Now, I can't stand here and pick my own pockets, otherwise I might be the only one to enjoy it. So earlier on, while you were enjoying yourselves downstairs on the way into the theatre, I actually walked amongst you and I bumped into one or two people and I borrowed one or two things. Now, the first thing I borrowed was this, and it's actually a glasses box, and it's got a name in here, Mr. Bill Dan. Is Mr. Dan here? You are? So would you stand up? Can you just make sure it came from your jacket pocket? Can you just make sure it's gone? And you didn't notice me bump into you? Perhaps you join me on stage, they'll give you a lovely round of applause. Thank you, Bill. It's very nice to meet you, Bill. You stand just here and put it back into your pocket. Now, the second thing I stole was this, and it's some keys. And I asked the gentleman his name, and he said it was Fitz. Is that right, Mr. Fitz? Mr. Fitz, would you stand up? And it's gone. These are your keys. Please come on stage. I'll give you a lovely round of applause. Very nice to meet you. Hi, I'm James Freedman, and that was me a week ago on stage at the world-famous Magic Circle performing my pickpocket act. Well, the act's taken me a few years to develop as I've combined existing techniques with some new thoughts and ideas of my own. This is your chance to take the fast track to learn all those methods of this unusual and fascinating skill, as I teach you how to steal wallets, belts, ties, glasses, and pretty much every kind of wristwatch. We've made it easy for you by compiling all the information you need right here. So watch the explanations, get out and practice, and pretty soon it'll be you who's stealing the show. Let me start by saying that if you're a magician, then you already have a head start in becoming a pickpocket, because you already have an understanding of the basic rules of misdirection. But the question I get asked most often by magicians is, how do I get started and how do I practice? Well, there are 4 ways to practice. The first is to take a jacket and hang it on a coat hanger and then suspend all that from a door frame or from the ceiling. This will simulate the sway and movement of a jacket that someone's wearing when they're standing, and is a great way to practice for that situation. The second way to practice is to take a jacket and hang it over the back of a chair and then put that chair on a platform about 12 inches high. That means that the shoulders of the jacket will be at about the height of your average guy or girl when they're sitting down. It's a good way to practice for that situation. The third way, and the way that I favour, is to get yourself a shop mannequin or a dummy. This is Fred, and Fred's been with me for a few years as I've learnt these skills. The fourth way to practice, which is perhaps the best, is to practice on a real person. But I warn you now, they will get bored. And as a magician, you have another advantage. Because when you're out there showing people close-up magic, you're getting close to strangers all the time. And you can actually practice your pickpocket skills while you show them your magic. Although you can pick pockets anywhere, you should obviously use your common sense to decide whether the circumstances are appropriate. The 4 places I pick pockets most often are on stage, obviously, in a reception situation, and in that sort of situation I'll always be giving the objects I take straight back to their owner. The third place might be where I'm engaged to be a close-up performer and I'm using pickpocket skills just to enhance the magic. And the fourth thing, which I do quite often, is to wear a disguise, perhaps as a security guard or a member of the front of house staff, and steal a few things before a stage show. This gives me two advantages. I can ascertain without them knowing what's in their pockets, and I can see the audience close hand and decide who will be best on stage. Now, the reason I was able to steal from you, Bill, and pass it to Nick is that we knew where the things were. After all, we all saw them put them into their pockets, but a street thief would have to do it slightly differently. So let's do it a different way. In the clip you've just seen, you saw me passing a wallet from my left hand to my right hand side before I put it into a top-it. Actually, my stage suit is specially constructed with two large double top-its, one each side. And that's so I don't get confused. Everything I steal from the person on my left goes onto the left-hand side of my body, and everything I steal from the person on my right onto the other side. And I suggest you use the same technique. You don't have to use top-its for that. You could obviously take things from the spectators and put them into your pockets. But you need to remember, if you're working with more than one spectator, what goes where and which object belongs to who. Actually, while you were helping me, I was helping myself. You see, I have your wallet, so perhaps you just put that back into your pocket. And I have your keys. I'm sorry about that, but I took your keys. And, I think that's yours, isn't it? So I get confused. Sometimes I just get, these are bad for you, you know. Sometimes I just get confused. Did you have something? The third place you can put the objects you steal is into the hands of another spectator. I'll use a pass around the body technique to steal from one person and pass their belongings to someone else, preferably their partner or someone who knows them. In a walk-around situation, everyone can see that you're stealing from someone and passing to someone else, and you'll get a very good reaction. We'll be looking at all the different types of steals later on, but broadly they fall into just two categories. Direct steals, where you take something out of someone's pocket, and a thing I call the fake return, where you apparently return something to someone's pocket, but you palm it away as you do so. Now, in the case of direct steals, you can split them into two types. Those where you steal something and the audience is immediately aware of the steal, and those where you secretly steal something and reveal it later on to get an element of surprise. Have a look at this clip. And I'd like you to take these 10 cards in your left hand and put them here inside your jacket pocket, right inside, down inside your pocket. Can you do that for me? Yep, that's great. And I'd like you to count 10 cards there. They'll count with you. There's one. So you can see that while the spectator was busy on his inside jacket pocket, I was stealing from his outside jacket pocket, using the side of the jacket as cover so that the audience weren't aware of the steal, although they were aware a minute or two later. The other kind of direct steal is when the audience are immediately aware and you wave the object around outside the field of vision of the spectator. Here's an example of that. 1, 2, 3, and have a look over there. Yeah, and over here. Did they change places?
No.
How long did it take me to do that? Or about? I've got a present for you, Claire. This is for you as a souvenir for being so good when you were watching. It's really kind of you, I appreciate it. So that was the direct steal, but as I mentioned, another technique is the fake return, apparently putting something back, palming it away to reveal later on. Paul Potassi, one of the great magician pickpockets, used just that technique to get a reputation as an expert pickpocket. Here's a clip of me using the fake return. Oh, that's strange. Check this pocket over here. What have you got in there?
I've got a wallet in there.
Oh, take that. Just have a look behind.
No.
No? What about in your outside pocket down here? Anything here?
No.
No? Your keys? Anything here?
No.
No?
It's not there.
You've confused me, Nick. Oh, it's a phone. You've confused me. You're sure it's not on the outside?
It's not there.
No? Another pickpocket skill you can certainly use to add impact to a lot of your close-up magic is to secretly load something into the spectator's pocket. In this next clip, while the spectator's busy looking at his inside jacket pocket, I'm secretly loading a selected playing card into his outside breast pocket. Right hand and put them into your inside jacket pocket just here. Yep, right inside, push them down. Okay?
Yep.
That's perfect. I think you get the idea now. So you can see better now. Right, he just doesn't trust me. Because I mentioned it, you may have spotted it, but the spectator didn't because they were misdirected, and misdirection is a key skill you have to master to be a successful stage pickpocket. One method, which is common to the pickpocket and the magician, is to ask a question. In this clip, you'll see me asking him a question about which pocket should I pick as I start to steal his tie. And before that, you'll see me asking him a question about a pocket on his left as I steal from his right, and then about a pocket on his right as I steal from his left, and continuing that sequence until all his belongings have been passed behind him to another spectator. Put it back into your pocket, and then he'd know which pocket it was in. He could signal to his accomplice, and his accomplice could come along and steal it later on. Let's see what else you've got. Let me just move you over a little bit so everyone can see. Oh, we've got your phone there. It's one of those posh ones. And down here we've got some paper. I won't take that. And this side, nothing there. Oh, something here that's in. Oh, the glasses that I started with. I won't take them again. So, I'm going to try and take one or two. You've got a pen there as well, and I don't want to leave you with your pen on this side. So I'm going to try and take a few things from... You're just coming slightly adrift here. Let me sort that out for you, because it's coming slightly apart. Would you like me to take the glasses first, the wallet on this side, the pen, or perhaps the phone? The glasses, the wallet, the pen, or the phone? Which would you prefer?
Oh, the pen.
The pen. Has it gone? So I've talked about the general methods, but you're probably asking, how do I actually pick pockets? Well, now's the time we're going to find out. Well, this is Fred, and he's offered to help me show you the real deal on how to steal. In fact, standing here with my hand on Fred's shoulder reminds me to mention a really important subject, and that is touching. If you're going to pick the pockets of someone, then you have to touch them and get close to do that, obviously. And that means that your personal appearance and grooming are very, very important. Another thing that touching allows me to find out is which pockets have something in them. I can obviously see the handkerchief here, but I can feel with a light pressure there's something on the inside jacket pocket. I don't think there's anything that side, and just with a light touch I can tell you there's something in the outside pockets on both sides. So let's have a look and find out how to steal. One of the easiest pockets to steal from is the breast pocket. And one of the reasons it's so easy to steal from is because it's on the outside. You can see what's inside it without even touching the spectator. Now on Fred here, you can see he's got a handkerchief in his outside breast pocket. And the way I'll typically grip that to steal it is between my index and middle fingers, clipping it like this, and then bringing it up over his shoulder as I put my hand on his shoulder. The reason to put my hand on the spectator's shoulder is to give him in his mind a reason why my hand came close to him in the first place. To him it should feel like I simply rested my hand here. But actually the audience know I've clipped the handkerchief and stolen it, and he doesn't know it. Now, two other objects you'll find commonly in the breast pocket are pens and glasses. Let me show you with a pen exactly how I'd steal that. There are two ways. One is with a thumb grip like this. Now, this is a handling advocated by Pierre Jacques in his excellent book, The Complete Course in Pickpocketing. But a grip I prefer, which means I don't have to twist my wrist quite as far, is to hold it between my index finger and thumb like this. From there I can go up his shoulder and over like that. Again, my hand rests on his shoulder, so the spectator has a reason in his mind why my hand came near him in the first place. And the third type of object you'll find commonly here that I mentioned before is glasses or spectacles. Sometimes in a case and sometimes not. The handling I'll use is my middle and ring finger go into the pocket, and then with a firm grip, because glasses are expensive and you don't want to drop them, I'll lift them up. I can then transfer them to my thumb and index finger, which is a safer grip, as I rest my hand on his shoulder, and the audience can see the glasses, and he can't. So there are three ways to steal from a pocket where you simply remove an object under cover of resting your hand there. But another way you can provide cover is to steal an object like these glasses from this pocket under cover of another object. So, excuse me, Fred, but let's imagine I've already stolen Fred's wallet, and as I return it to him, I can cover his pocket, use exactly the same grip, middle and ring finger, to slide the glasses up. Now I want to pinch them against the wallet so that I don't drop them. I can now return the wallet to him and keep the glasses away behind my back. When you pick a trouser pocket, you've got much more chance the spectator will notice, and that's because the trouser pockets are closer to the body and they're more likely to feel it. I talked earlier about touching to establish what's inside a pocket. Obviously, that's not appropriate on a trouser pocket necessarily. So what I'll do is ask the spectator, what do you have in your pocket? Let's imagine that he's told me, and I can actually feel here, that there's some keys or coins and something else heavy down there, and also a handkerchief I can feel. Well, the method I use to steal that handkerchief is exactly the same, albeit with the other hand, as I used on the breast pocket handkerchief earlier on. I reach inside with 2 fingers. You have to go deep to get hold of the handkerchief, and then you pull it out and around onto the spectator's back. Remember, people can see it and he can't. Another way to steal from this pocket is under cover of another object. So let's imagine that I'd stolen the spectator's wallet and I was going to return it to him. I might say, here's your wallet, don't put it down here in your trouser pocket, but put it into your jacket pocket over here. And in that action behind my back, I've stolen his handkerchief and I'm showing it to the audience before he puts his wallet back into his pocket. This is what it looks like on stage. You see, a lot of people carry their wallet down here in their front trouser pocket. I like to carry mine round the back in my back pocket. Yeah. Would you put this into your back trouser pocket? It's warm in here, isn't it? Now, there's some other things in Fred's pocket here. Some coins, they are. Coins and a lighter. Let me show you 2 ways to steal from here. You can't reach into a trouser pocket because your fingers simply won't get low enough into the bag, and you can't put your whole hand into the pocket without being detected. So there are 2 methods I use. One is to reach inside the pocket as low down as I can and to walk the lining of the pocket up inside. So inside, what I'm doing is this, holding the cloth on the outside with my thumb, I'm walking the lining bag up inside, and it looks like this. So the movement can't be seen from the outside, but as soon as those objects are close enough, I can steal, in this case, a lighter. Now we've got some coins left, and let me show you one last steal from the trouser pocket that is a little bit chancy, but you can give yourself 2 or 3 chances in the routine. I might say, sir, what do you have in this pocket? And as I do, I put these 2 fingers into the pocket, not like this, but one in front of the other, like that. The idea is that I can grip coins between the fingers like that. So my fingers go in, and then I hit the coins and say, what do you have here? Some coins. Now, I missed that time. Let me try again. And I catch a coin. What happens is you hit the bottom of the pocket bag, so the coins jump up, and then you catch them between your fingers. Now, you may not catch a coin, or you might catch 2, or if you're lucky, 3. But you can give yourself a few chances by saying, it doesn't sound like you've got very much money there, flicking the coins up into your hand as you do so. So that's 3 ways to steal from the front trouser pocket. Now I'm going to show you how to steal from the back trouser pocket. So here's a wallet, and it goes into Fred's back right-hand trouser pocket. The cover I normally use for the back pocket is simply that I and the spectator are both facing the audience. So in this position, I can lift up the jacket, or I can reach through, in this case, because it's got side vents, to the pocket. Again, 2 fingers go into the pocket and steal the wallet behind me, or again, up onto the shoulder where I can show it to the audience outside his peripheral vision. Now, it's going to be much easier to explain what I was doing in there and show you 3 more steals on the back trouser pocket if Fred takes off his jacket. Thanks, Fred. Well, as you know, the wallet was in Fred's back trouser pocket, just here. So under the jacket, what happened was my index finger and middle finger went into the pocket, then my middle finger pulls the pocket away from Fred, so it makes a slight gap between the wallet and his back. I put my index finger into that gap so I can pinch the wallet between my fingers and scissor it out like that. In other words, my index finger goes between the wallet and Fred, and my middle finger anchors that wallet so that I can lift it out of the pocket. Now, there are easier ways to take this wallet from that back pocket, and they all rely on making sure the wallet is sticking out of the pocket before I steal it. But how do I get the wallet into that position? Well, on the street, the way it's done is to use the pickpocket's knee to lift the wallet before you steal it like that. But on stage, I can't hit someone with my knee. Another way it's done on the street is with a briefcase, but I can't do that on stage either. So a technique I've invented is to actually push the wallet up out of the pocket from the outside. I grip the pocket on the outside, pinching the cloth between my index finger and thumb. Now, Fred can't feel this because the wallet is between my hand and the spectator. I then use my other fingers to push the wallet proud of the pocket before I steal it away, like this. Now, another way to make sure the object is sticking out of the pocket is to use an object that's too big to fit in the pocket in the first place. So if in the middle of a routine I'd stolen a full-size jacket wallet from someone, I could say, let me put that back into your back trouser pocket where it will be safe, and then ask him to check that it's there through his jacket. That's obviously an easy steal because whatever he does, it's going to stay sticking out of the pocket and I can reach under the jacket and steal it very easily later on. But the best way to steal a billfold wallet, that's an American-style small wallet from a back pocket, is detailed in Jim Revell's book, Theatrical Pickpocketing. It's called the $1 Million Wallet Steal, and it works after you've taken out a wallet and you're returning it to their pocket. So can I put this back in your pocket where you can feel it, and would you check it's still there? Now under the jacket, what I've done is hang the wallet over the back of his pocket like this. But with the jacket hanging down on the outside, he can feel that and it will feel exactly like it's in his back pocket. Stealing this wallet is a piece of cake because I only have to put one finger inside the wallet and I can lift it up like that. So that's 3 ways to steal from the back trouser pocket. Stealing from the inside jacket pocket sounds like it might be much more difficult, but actually learning these steals is just as easy. Let's have a look at Fred. He's got a pen here in the inside pocket, and you'll notice by folding his jacket back in this way, I've actually positioned the pen in almost exactly the same position as his outside breast pocket. I can steal it in a way that you've already learned, up and over his shoulder. And you can use this steal, folding the jacket back on itself, to dip into any of these pockets. There's a comb here, or down here there's a small ticket wallet. Another way to steal from the jacket on this side, the same side I'm standing, is to open the jacket, spot the pocket, and then close the jacket as I remove the object with my other hand. Essentially, I'm looking where the object is, holding on to it as I close the jacket for cover to remove the object with my other hand. Now, if I want to steal from the other side, I can use a similar technique, opening the jacket like this to reach in and straight up over the shoulder. But more on that in a moment. I want to cover 2 other ways first to steal from an inside jacket pocket on the far side of the spectator. Well, the first way, and a way that was shown to me by Pat Page, is to steal from this pocket under cover of discovering another object that you have palmed. Let's imagine this is the spectator's selected card, and I'm going to discover it inside their pocket. So with it palmed, I reach inside, across to where the pocket is. My right arm is now obscuring his view of my left hand. So as the card comes out, my left hand has all the time in the world to steal this object. It's a great steal because the audience are very aware of the moment you steal, and he can't see it. Another steal you can use to steal from that pocket is something that was used by the world's greatest pickpocket, in my opinion, the great Borra. He would take a grip on the wallet and then ask the spectator to sit down, and as they sat down, the object was drawn clear of the pocket bag, and he'd pass it under their chin and across their chest to display it on the opposite shoulder. As an aside, Borra would actually, having sat the spectator down, pass this wallet onto his back and then stand up straight to catch it behind his back, which made for a fantastic piece of theatre. I did want to mention this final steal where you open the jacket and lift the wallet straight up onto the shoulder. This is detailed in Paul Revell's book, Theatrical Pickpocketing, from Magic Words. Actually, if you just do the steal as I've described it, then the audience will see it as you steal it, and there's a possibility, particularly at this angle, that the spectator will see it too. So I'll cover it by moving across the spectator like this. I'll open the jacket and prepare for the steal, but I won't actually make the steal until I walk in front of the spectator between him and the audience. This means they see the wallet a beat after I've stolen it, and the action's covered for him by me walking in front. And perhaps you'd pass those over to our friend here. And I'd like you to take these 10 cards in your left hand and put them here inside your jacket pocket, right inside, down inside your pocket. Can you do that for me? Yep, that's great. Obviously, you need to be able to steal from your spectators' side jacket pockets. Now, in the live performance, you saw me stealing from the side jacket pocket using the jacket itself as cover. So as I open the spectator's jacket, drawing attention to something on the inside, I'm stealing on the outside. Let me show you how I did that. I open the jacket to draw his attention to the inside pocket, and I'm holding his jacket with my left hand, as it's the left-hand side of his jacket. On the other side, everything's reversed. My right hand is now free with lots of cover from the jacket to reach into his pocket and remove whatever I find there. I can show it to the audience over his shoulder or simply hold it behind my body to reveal later. Now, an important point about how I reach into pockets is perhaps worth covering now. It's a simple rule I have that I put as little of my hand as possible into the pocket. So rather than reach right into the pocket bag, as I might if it was removing something from my own pocket, I'll use just 2 fingers, maybe 3, to reach inside and clip whatever the object is. Now obviously it depends what you're stealing and from which pocket, but as a general rule, you want to put as little as your hand as possible inside the pockets. Another way to steal from the outside jacket pocket is to use your body as cover rather than their jacket. So if we imagine that I'm saying to this gentleman, what do you have in your right hand jacket pocket? My body can lean in and steal from this pocket, as I just did, to take away the notebook again. I'll show you that again. My body leans in and says, what do you have here? At the same time, 2 fingers of my right hand are reaching into his pocket and stealing the object, which I can show to the audience again, or slide around my body to reveal later on. Let me put this back and I'll show you a third way that I can steal from the side pockets. This is a method I normally reserve for a close-up mingling situation, or on stage I'll use it where the spectator is positioned front onto me. So let me turn him round now. I open up his jacket and ask him what he has in his pockets. Now on a double-breasted jacket like this, you may want to walk down the jacket a little bit until your fingers are closer to the pockets. You can then reach in with 2 fingers and take out whatever you find. In this case, it's some papers, and at the same time, I can be removing the notebook on the other side. They both go behind, and I've stolen 2 things in one go, while the spectator's looking inside their jacket. As I mentioned earlier, when you're picking pockets close up, you can get a lot of reaction out of a small object, whereas on stage, some of those small objects can't be seen. Well, close up, one object that'll get you a lot of reaction are cufflinks, and the reason is that a lot of people have trouble putting cufflinks on in the first place because they're fiddly. Taking them off instantly is therefore quite impressive. Let me show you the technique now. This is a T-bar cufflink. That means that there's a T-bar on the other side which pushes through. So they're actually very easy to undo. As I'm holding his wrist, all I need to do is brace the front of the cufflink with my thumb, and then with my middle finger behind, straighten that T-bar and push it, and the cufflink will drop off into my hand. You might find that as you're stealing someone's watch on the left-hand side, you can take their cufflink at the same time. But in a close-up situation, an easy steal you can have a lot of fun with. So we've looked at direct steals, taking things out of the spectator's pockets. And we've looked at the mechanics of those steals, but there are 2 things you need to add if you're going to be a successful pickpocket. The first is a light touch. That's something Gentleman Jack would talk about. A light touch. You want to put as little of your hand as possible into the spectator's pocket. So if I'm stealing from this outer jacket pocket, maybe just 2 fingers in here to steal this notepad. Something else that I hope is now obvious is that you should practice all these steals with your right hand and your left hand so that it doesn't matter which side the spectator is to you or which side they carry their wallet or wear their watch. And something else that may be obvious now is that you can combine these steals. You don't have to steal just from inner pockets together or just from outer pockets at the same time. You can steal 2 things at once from an inside and an outside pocket. And putting my hands like this on Fred reminds me to reiterate the importance of the spectator's limited field of vision. If my hands are here, he cannot see what I'm holding in them. And misdirection is so important as you make the steals. The misdirection I use most often, and you've seen it in the live clips, is to ask them, what do you have in this pocket? Do you have something in that pocket? Keeping their mind occupied while you execute the steal to make sure that they don't see it. Now I'm going to teach you a reputation-making technique. I call it the fake return. It's when you take an object openly and then you return it to the spectator apparently, but you palm it away to reveal later on. Let me show you how that works. I'll start by putting this pen genuinely into Fred's breast pocket, and you can see as it goes into his pocket, well, he might feel that, and then as the clip hits the top of the pocket, he'll feel a slight tug as the pen's left in the pocket. Well, I'm going to simulate that with a fake return. That means that the pen's returned in the same way, but it goes outside the pocket, down the outside of the jacket. Again, you might feel that, so slight pressure there. And then my finger tugs on the top of the pocket to simulate the tug of the clip on that pocket. And at that point, he'll feel a slight tug on the jacket and relax that the pen has been returned. Now you have to add to this technique a little bit of misdirection, moving his mind ahead in a sequence to something else. So as I put that back, I might ask what he has down here, but I've stolen the pen away like this. I can also use this move on an inside pocket. So as I slide the pen down, my finger again hooks the pocket, pulls slightly, he feels the tug as I flick the pen away and palm it to reveal later on. Now you're not limited to things that are long and thin like a pen. You can do it really with any object. Here's Fred's wallet, and I can put it into his pocket the same way. It goes down the outside, simulating a return. I pull on the pocket as I palm the wallet away to reveal. Again, the fake return isn't limited either to inside or breast pockets. You can also use it for outside jacket pockets. As you return the object, your thumb contacts the pocket and gives that slight tug, which makes them relax that the object's been returned. Here's another sequence using the fake return. As you watch this sequence, pay particular attention to the misdirection I'm using. As I fake return each object to his jacket, I'm actually misdirecting him, encouraging him to look ahead at another pocket in the sequence.
Nothing on the outside? No? Anything in your trouser pockets?
Change.
No change. Okay, well I'm going to try for something smaller, maybe heavier, your phone.
Okay.
Put that in here, okay? So one at a time we'll go for them. Oh, you got something here, you're holding out on me. What's that? Did you know you had your car key and your key?
Oh, yeah.
People they're sewn up. A pickpocket's
useless-
worse than
I'm a useless-
Okay. The phone, the cigarettes, or the wallet? What would you like me to go for?
Phone.
Well, I've been distracting you, and while I have, the world's greatest pickpocket has been standing behind you. She's going to give it all back. Look, we've got your phone here, we've got your wallet, and we got your cigarettes. They're bad for you, you know. Anything else? I think she's holding out on you here. We've got your car keys and your house keys as well. You're a big guy.
As you go out and work as a pickpocket, sooner or later you'll come across these, braces, or as our American friends call them, suspenders. And there are two main types. This leather kind, with a buttonhole that goes over a braces button on the trouser, or this metal kind that Fred is now wearing, a metal clip which attaches over the trouser itself. And the technique is exactly the same whichever you use. Obviously in this case you're undoing buttons, in this case you're undoing a clip. But the order that you undo them in, I would suggest, is the same, and let me show you that now. To undo this metal kind, I hold onto the elastic between my finger and my thumb, and then use my middle finger to lift up the front of the clip so that it comes free. If I don't hold the elastic and the braces are under tension, then there's a possibility this will flick up and he'll feel it. So I release it and then let go. On the other side, I'll do it in exactly the same way, probably using my other hand and doing it under cover of the jacket, like that, so it's now free. Now to undo the back of the braces, I reach inside and again holding the elastic with my finger and thumb and using my middle finger to release the clips like this, I can pull down and pull the braces clear of Fred immediately. So that's how to steal braces. Now let's have a look at belts, and more interestingly, how to steal them from the spectators while they're wearing them. There are two types, this traditional buckle type, and this kind, which you see more and more of nowadays with a logo. It undoes by pulling this hook away from the hole, and then the belt is free. There's an important difference between these two types. With a traditional buckle, the tail of the belt is on the outside. You can see that there. But with this, as I call it, logo type, the tail of the belt is on the inside, and that means you're not entirely sure which way round the belt is being worn. Although most gentlemen wear their belt with the tail passed round to their left and round to the right, so this way round, or in this case, this way round. Now, to undo this logo type, you simply pull the hook, as I've mentioned. The buckle is slightly more difficult, and I'll show you how to do it now. To undo this buckle type, what you have to do is free the tail from the buckle. You do that by putting your middle finger and your thumb, the maximum reach you can, across the buckle and the tail of the belt. Now, if you can't reach, don't worry. You just want to be with your thumb on the tail of the belt and your finger as far as it can reach. And then you squeeze that tail of the belt, and I'll give you an exposed view, and it will bend up and towards your hand, until there's enough of the belt folded here that you can hold it, pull it back, and flick the pin of the belt out of the way, like that. Now the belt is now free and will sit in the belt loops of their trousers until you take it off. And here's how you do that. I'll show you using Fred. Fred is wearing a belt, and I'll put his jacket like this so that you can see how I do it. Fred is wearing a logo belt, so to undo it, all I have to do is pull this pin and kick the tail free of the buckle. But with belt steals, I don't want the audience to know I'm taking it until, really, it's been stolen. So what I'll do is turn the spectator away from the audience, and while I'm still facing the audience, using the misdirection of his back pocket as I address them, I'll undo his belt and then hold on to the buckle. I can feel it's on this side, as they normally are, and I want to create an S-curve of that belt around his body and mine. So holding the buckle, I turn this way into the belt, which withdraws it from his trousers. Now I've held it in front of me, but actually in performance I'll hold it behind my back so he can't see it, but the audience can. And that's the bare mechanics of stealing a belt. But have a look at this clip to see the misdirection and rhythm of the whole technique. I'm going to show everyone how it works. Lift up your jacket here and show them your wallet. Now that's sticking out, that's going to make it too easy for me, but show them where it is. Take it out, your wallet. Take it out, show them, now put it back in your pocket. Pretty difficult from there, right? But let me turn you around and show you how this will work. You might think with all this turning around I stole something. And I did. I managed to steal your belt. So please give a big, big hand as he goes and sits down. Big hand as he goes and sits down. Thank you very much. Stealing a tie is one of the most impressive things you can do as a pickpocket. Audiences just can't believe you can take a tie off someone while they're wearing it and they don't realise. Now you can take a tie whether someone's jacket is fastened or unfastened, but I always unfasten the jacket because I once went to steal a tie with the jacket fastened and there was a tie pin about here below the level of the jacket that I hadn't seen, which caused me problems. So I always undo the jacket and have a look at the tie before I start. Now I'll fold his jacket back and you can see how this works. Most people think that tie knots look like this. That is symmetrical. But actually, if you have a closer look, most tie knots look like this, or occasionally the reverse, like this. Now if you look at Fred's tie, you may be able to see that this side is straighter than this side, which is at an angle, which means that the thin end of the tie goes up and to Fred's left. And that's important because I need to know which side that goes in order to know which side to stand in order to remove his tie. But a surefire way of finding out is an idea I thought of when I saw Mark Sischer's brilliant gag where he pretends to unravel a spectator's tie and he's flicking the tie with his finger. This gag gave me the excuse to hold the spectator's tie and pull slightly, and as I pull I can look at the knot and see for sure which side this thin end goes, and it goes up here to the left as we thought. Now to undo the tie, it means I'm standing on the correct side. I have to hold the tie knot with 3 points of contact, and I do it like this. My finger, middle finger here, my thumb on the other side, and my index finger at the top, so the tie knot can't move. And then with my other hand, I reach under the collar, close to the knot, and I pull back, undoing the tie. Now I may have to repeat this, but it will take no more than 2 or 3 of these pulls to free the tie up. And in the sequence you're about to see, I'm talking to the spectator, asking him which pocket shall I steal from as I undo his tie. Well, the tie is now free and undone. It's just hanging down the front and the back. And at this stage, it doesn't look too different on the front. But I'll often turn the spectator 180 or 360 degrees now, so the entire audience can see this and know what I'm up to. Well, to remove the tie completely, ideally I'll be standing on the other side, and I'll grasp the tie knot like this. All I have to do is lift it out of the collar and behind him, and I can either pull the tie away or leave it there hanging on the back of Fred like this. So to remove it from there, I can either thank him and pull it away, or I can leave it hanging there and take it away later on in the show. Now there's one other thing about ties. Occasionally you'll find someone who has a tie you want to steal, but they're wearing a collar like mine with buttons, a button-down collar. Well, in this situation, you don't have to undo both buttons in order to steal the tie. You just have to undo the one button that is on the same side as you will be removing the knot. So in Fred's case, I just need to undo this button in order to remove the tie, and this one can stay fastened throughout and it won't affect the steel at all. Well, that sounds quite complicated, but when you add some misdirection, it's an amazing effect. Have a look at this clip to see the tie steel in action. So I'm going to try and take a few things from... You're just coming slightly adrift here. Let me sort that out for you, because it's coming slightly apart. Would you like me to take the glasses first, the wallet on this side, the pen, or perhaps the phone? The glasses, the wallet, the pen, or the phone? Which would you prefer?
Oh, the pen.
The pen. Has it gone?
Yes.
You see, I've been distracting you, Bill. Big hand as he goes and sits down. Big hand as he goes and sits down. Thank you very much, Bill. Oh, Bill, I have your tie too. Sorry, give him a big hand as he takes his seat. You have everything back, I promise, my friend. Let's hear it for Bill and Nick. This is Ed. He's Fred's half-brother, and he's here to help me show you how to steal glasses. Well, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can you steal someone's glasses while they're wearing them and they don't realise? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? But it's not, and I'm here to show you how. The first thing you need to check is whether the glasses themselves are strong or weak. If they're strong glasses, I wouldn't even attempt this trick, because the moment you steal the glasses, he won't be able to see and he'll know, and that will spoil the fun. The idea is to leave some gap between the steel and his realisation that the glasses have even gone. To see if they're strong or not, what I do is look through the side of the lens at the side of the spectator's head, and the amount of refraction will tell me if they're strong. Well, if they're not, what I'm going to do is induce the blink reflex in the spectator. Make him go like that, and to do that, I bring my hand or an object up to his face, which will make him blink. So let's imagine I've stolen his wallet and I'm returning it. I bring the wallet up to his face and he'll blink at the moment I see his eyes close, and I can anticipate that. I hold the glasses just here at this joint, and then I lift them up and over his head. As I return the wallet to him and ask him to put it back into his pocket, I pass the glasses around my body and put them on. It will be some time before he notices I'm wearing his glasses. Don't believe me? Have a look at this clip and see that move in action. Is in your sorry, it's a bit warm. This is your handkerchief, Nick. Put this handkerchief down inside your front trouser pocket. Your front trouser pocket. Have you got it there? Now I have something else from here. Would you check and see what else I have from there? Something else over here. Do you have something else? Something else. No, maybe check this pocket. Yeah, or is it in this pocket? No, check. No, your wallet you have in your back pocket. Do you have something else? Something else down here, sir. You got something? He can't see, and I see double. You sure you don't have? I have your glasses, sir. Here, take them out. Oh, they're here. Sorry. Put them back. Give them a big, big hand. Thank you. Now the thing that you've all been waiting for, how to steal watches. Well, stealing a wristwatch is impressive because they're quite fiddly to put on for some people, but also they're expensive. In fact, when you say, I'm a magician, I bet you've had people say, oh, mind my watch. Watches come in different types. There's this leather strap with a buckle, traditional kind, or there's this rubber strap with a buckle. There's an important difference between the two in the buckle, which I'll come to later. There are these metal ones which fasten around the wrist. There are these metal ones which go over the hand before they're fastened around the wrist, or these expandable type, or even more recent, this kind, the Velcro kind. And if you're going to practice to steal watches, what you should do is what I did and get yourself a large collection of different types, different shapes, different styles, and different sizes of watch so that you can practice every type and be ready. I'm going to teach you the best of these, the worst of these, and the ones to watch out for. There are a number of ways that you can practice the mechanics of wristwatch steal. The first way is to practice on your own wrist. Now I've put my watch on upside down, and for a leather strap like this, with the watch upside down, I can practice the wristwatch steal on myself. The second way I can practice is on the padded arm of a dining chair. The third way I can practice is on something like this, a false hand from a joke shop that I can put watches on and practice that way. But the best way to practice is on a real person. So let's get Ted, and he'll help me show you how to steal a watch. So first we'll look at the easiest kind of watch to steal, the leather strap. And Ted, if we could use your hand. Thanks very much. Now as you hold your hand out, you'll see that Ted's sleeve rides up, and that gives me a chance to say, hold your hands out if I want to know what sort of watch they've got. In a close-up magic situation, putting anything into this hand, I get a long time to look at the watch and decide whether I'm going to go for the steel. But a leather strap I'd always go for. And the method is this. I brace the face of the watch with my thumb so it can't rotate around his wrist. And then using my middle finger, or the longest finger, I put it down onto the tail, just as I did undoing the leather belt earlier on. As I push, you can see that the leather strap comes out of the two retaining loops until it's folded on itself like that. Now I grip the strap between the tip of my finger and the base of my finger here, like this. And pulling back, the pin will come clear and I can push it out of the way. Now if I just remove the watch now, there is a chance that that pin will go back into one of these holes. And an excellent tip from Chappie Brazil was that if you put the tail of the watch at an angle, as you now release it from their wrist, there's no chance of the pin going back into a hole. And you can palm the watch off like that. And that's called the side steal. Well, that's called the side steal because I stand to the side of the spectator while I steal the watch. Another method you can use involves face on to the spectator and removing the watch with your thumb. Let me show you that now. So this time with my palm on the face of the watch, I use my thumb to reach round and push the tail of the strap up. Then gripping it between my finger and thumb, I use my thumb to clear the pin and push this down, again at an angle, and palm the watch off this way. This is best used when I'm holding the spectator's two wrists and either asking them a question or moving them around the stage or the floor in some way. Now let's talk about this kind. It's very common. It goes over the wrist and then tightens like this and locks tight like that. Ted's wearing a similar watch, and I'll show you the technique I use for this kind of watch now. Usually, if the person's wearing the watch on their left hand, then I will know that the way to undo it is to reach around here, and that's the case now. And with my middle finger, here's an exposed view, I pull down the catch. The watch is now undone, but I'm still holding it on Ted's wrist so that he doesn't know. And to take it off his wrist, all I need to do is slide it along and off his hand like that. So that's how to take off the over-the-wrist, tighten and lock type of watch. Now I'd like to talk about these. This is a rubber strap with a buckle, and it differs from a leather strap with a buckle at the buckle end. Let me show you. Most leather straps have one piece like this and a pin, whereas most rubber straps have a double buckle like that and a pin in the middle. This means when the rubber strap is done up, it actually has to be undone from the retaining loops, same as a leather one, and then from the buckle on this side before you can even consider taking it off the pin on this side. Because it's rubber, it has a greater tendency to flick back and re-engage the pin on the way out. I was lucky that time. So let's put this on Ted, and I'll show you how to take it off. So Ted, if you show everyone the watch you're now wearing, a rubber strap, remember, a double-sided buckle. Well, the technique is the same as the leather strap, but you have to make sure, as you push this up, that you then push it again here inside the buckle. Hope you can see that in close-up. Now the technique's exactly the same, but because the rubber strap means there's a tendency for the pin to go back into a hole when this flicks, I don't let go. I just feed it through like that until I can palm the watch off. And that's how to remove a rubber strap. Now we're going to look at expandable, that's elasticated wristwatches. And there are two ways to remove them, and a third way where actually the spectator removes them themselves unknowingly. Ted, if I could have your hand. The first way is to get under the strap using my thumb. Now typically I'll go in here just at the join between the face and the strap, and then put my other thumb in the gap. My fingers go this side underneath my thumb so they don't feel it, and I open the whole strap up into a large square. I can then come off their hand like this. That's one way. Let me put this back on Ted and show you a second way, where I go in at the same point, but instead of going in here with my thumb, I go in with my finger. I can then get a second finger inside, work another finger round and a fourth, and come off this way. If the strap is particularly tight, then putting your fingers in at this angle, rather than your fingers and thumbs like this, will allow you more leeway and it will come off more easily. Now, the third way I mentioned, where the spectator takes off their watch unknowingly, works a similar way, and I'll show you now. Essentially, I give a small object to the spectator to hold on to. Imagine you're holding a coin there, Ted, for me now, and I ask them to put it into their jacket pocket. Now, holding that in their jacket pocket, I open the watch at the mouth of the pocket and say, is it possible I could take away that coin? They say no, and I ask them to show the audience the coin. When they reach their hand out of their pocket to show the coin, I've got the watch. And you can drop the watch into their pocket, which is like a ready-made servant, and reveal it later on. That's 3 ways to take off the expandable watch strap.
Number 10.
As a pickpocket magician, you should be looking for tricks that get you close to people so you can pick their pockets or steal their watches. In close-up situations, you might use a sponge ball routine or a trick with a coin. As they're holding it, you can be holding their wrist, helping them, but stealing their watch at the same time. On stage, you might do something like cards across, or 20th century silks, where you tuck the silks into their top pocket. Any excuse to put your hands into their pockets so you can execute the steal.
Number 9.
Whether you're working close-up or on stage, if you're booked to be a pickpocket, you need to make sure that all members of the management team know. You can't be a big surprise. Just in case you steal something and you're caught, you need to be able to explain yourself.
Number 8.
Loading unusual objects into people's pockets to discover them later can be very funny and is really a pickpocket skill in reverse. Something I'll often load into a spectator's top pocket in the right situation is a mouth coil. And with a little bit of double-sided tape on the mouth coil, I can stick it to the inside of their pocket and then produce it as if by magic.
Number 7.
Giovanni was one of the great pickpocket entertainers, and he had a great idea using purses, which I've adapted, and I use pens. What I do is return a pen to a spectator, and 2 minutes later I return it again, and 2 minutes later I return it again, and the audience have no idea how I keep stealing the pen from the spectator. In fact, I'm giving the spectator one of my pens every time. He goes home with 5 pens, and I go home with a reputation.
Number 6.
You can pick anyone's pocket, but out of personal choice, I never pick the pockets of ladies. It just doesn't suit my style. But what I will do is steal from their bags, providing I can see what's in the bag and I know what I'm going to take before I take it. An excellent thing you can use with a handbag, particularly if you're playing the part of a security guard, is the fake return that we covered elsewhere.
Number 5.
Here's another one I learnt the hard way. If you're going to steal something and take it away from the spectator to return it later on, there are certain things you shouldn't steal. A mobile or cellular telephone. Don't take that. They may be expecting an important call, or they may panic when they realise they don't have their phone and they're expecting a call from the babysitter. Don't take pages or anything else to do with communication. Other things you shouldn't steal is when you put your hand into a pocket and you realise that what's inside is an asthma inhaler or anything to do with a medical condition. Leave them in the pocket. You really don't want to embarrass anyone. After all, the people that assist you should be the stars of the show.
Number 4.
As a pickpocket, just like a magician who borrows objects from the spectators, you're going to be touching belongings that don't belong to you. However careful you are, if you plan to pick the pockets of strangers, make sure you have entertainer's insurance.
Number 3.
Like a good close-up magician, a good pickpocket is observant. You should look for opportunities because you never know what people are going to carry in their pockets. If you see that someone's wearing a cufflink and it's not quite fastened, don't tell them, steal it. If you notice that someone has something in their top pocket, take it.
Number 2.
If you're in a mingling situation picking pockets, be prepared for the situation when the spectators pick your pocket. Don't carry anything in your outside jacket pockets or any valuables in your jacket where it will be easy pickings for them. After all, now you know it's not that difficult.
And the number 1 top tip.
And finally, here's a top tip you can use to get a reputation as a master pickpocket, and you won't have to steal a thing. And it's this: just carry a spare watch in your pocket next time you're out as a close-up magician. When someone comes up to you when you're entertaining a group and says, "Hey, that was great magic," shake them by the hand and send them on their way. As they leave the group, you turn to the others and say, "I better just go and give this back." This is a hook and catch. In other words, you undo the catch like that, and then there's a hook on this piece which goes into the bar on the other side. A hook and catch. Here's how we undo those. Ted's wearing a similar watch. Again, I put my palm against the watch so that my fingers are close to the buckle but not actually touching it. And then with my middle finger again of my left hand, I reach round and pull down, which essentially undoes the watch. Here's an exposed view. Now, to get that clear of the loop, what I have to do is press with my finger while I hold the buckle between my thumb and middle finger. I'll refasten just that stage so you can see this again. Holding like that, pushing with my finger till it's clear. The watch is now off the wrist, and all I have to do is palm it away under some suitable misdirection. How to remove the hook and clasp. Now here's the sort of wristwatch strap that you really don't want to see. They're difficult to take because they're fastened with Velcro, and listen, they make a terrible noise when you open them up. However, I'll show you the mechanics of stealing it because I have been working in noisy environments, clubs or at a dinner, where actually the noise of it being unfastened isn't heard by the spectators. So I'll ask Ted to put this one on and show you the technique. Thanks, Ted. If we can show them now you're wearing this Velcro watch. The technique for undoing this is like this. In a noisy environment, what I do is brace the face of the watch against the pad at the base of my index finger, and then I grip the Velcro, but rather than pull it off, which they may feel, I turn their hand, and the movement of their hand turning means that they don't feel the Velcro being undone, and no one else will hear it if it's noisy enough. Now, the watch isn't yet undone. In order to completely remove it, I have to use my thumb to flick the top half with this eyelet away from the strap, like that, and then palm it away. And that's how to remove a Velcro strap watch. I'd like to mention a few books and booklets that you can find in order to make yourself a better pickpocket. When I started learning this unusual skill, the only thing I had was this, How to Pick Pockets by Eddie Joseph, a little booklet that's still in print to this day. Soon after I found this, Pickpocket Stunts for Magicians, not exactly the techniques of picking pockets, but a few ideas to add to your magic. It's published by UF Grant, out of print, but you may find a copy. This was brought out by Tannins and translated from the French. It's The Complete Course in Pickpocketing by Pierre Jacques. And a book that I really recommend to you is this one, Jim Revelle's Theatrical Pickpocketing. This is a magical publication and is available from Mike Caveney in California. This list wouldn't actually be complete without mentioning The Pickpocket Secrets of Mark Raffles, a weighty tome that covers everything Mark Raffles considers to be important that you need to know about picking pockets. And finally, this small booklet, The Art of Stealing Watches, I commend to you because it includes Apollo Robbins' coin-on-shoulder routine. Apollo's a great friend and a great pickpocket who works in Las Vegas. So a few books so you can go a little bit further learning this art.